Hi. So today I wanted to give you a little lesson on Go Math 9.7. So you have an assignment today to complete. You should have these pages in your blue folder. These are more that we tore out before we left school. Should have sent you home with the whole book, but taught me a lesson to be optimistic. 533, 534. 535 and 536. We're going to work on those four today. At least we're going to get 533 and 534 done. We'll start on 535. Let's look at it. We'll do a little bit of it together. So let's do a little bit of it together. If you have page 533 handy, or pause the video and go get it so that you can, we'll do a little bit. It's pretty much one problem on 533. So we'll do that together and then you won't have so much to do on your own. So let me share my screen with you so you can see the book and we'll look at it together. Of course, we had this problem before. Oh, I have an annotate feature. Okay, so maybe I can do that. Oh, sorry, my oven is ready. I must put dinner in the oven. So this is page 533. Let me see if I can, I can make it bigger. All right, so lesson 9.7 right here, and we're gonna use models and place value understanding to compare two decimals, two hundredths, by reasoning about their size and recording using the symbols greater than, equal to, or less than. So our essential question is, how can you compare decimals? So we're comparing two different decimal numbers as being greater than, less than, or equal to another decimal. So here's the problem. The city park covers 64 hundredths of a square mile. About 18 hundredths of the park is covered by water, and about 2/10 of the park is covered by paved walkways. Is more of the park covered by water or paved walkways? Cross out the unnecessary information. So it's asking us, is more of the park covered by water or paved walkways? Well, up here it told us how big the whole park was. I don't know if that's a necessary piece of information that we need. We don't really need to know how big the whole park is. We only need to know the difference, whether there's more, this number, 18 hundredths, is the amount covered by water, is more than this amount, 2/10. So the unnecessary information that we could cross off could be, let me see if I have, draw. Let's draw a line. Okay, well, it kind of highlights it, but that's okay. That's the part we would cross off. Circles the numbers we will use. Here we go. We need this number right here, 18 hundredths. We need this number right here, 2/10. Okay, what do we need to find? We need to find how much more of the park is covered by water. So how much more, or nope, not how much more, if more is covered by water or walkways. All right, so one way, use a model. We could shade. So I'm going to get my little drawing tool again. Let's see if I can get a different color. Maybe a different color will show up a little better. Pink is kind of light. All right, we'll go with that. And one way is to shade 18 hundredths. So that's going to be 18 of these little squares. So let me just draw a line through because I have a little skinny line. That's 10. And then I can go down. So I just have 2 left in this line, and that'll be 18. Okay. Let me see, a little bigger. There we go. Now you can see it colored in a little bit better. This is tricky. This is how class kick is going to be. It's going to be sometimes a little tricky to do it, but you'll be able to do things like this when we get class kick going in the next couple days. So hopefully you played around with that on Monday so that you know how it works. And these are the kind of tools that you can use. Over here, we're going to shade a model that's 2/10. 2/10 is going to be one whole thing and another whole thing. So which is more colored in? Well, this one over here is. So we need this kind of symbol. a less than sign. 1800ths is less than 2/10, only by a slightly different amount. Okay, I'm gonna take some time and erase that. Erase all that so that I can move my thing up here, and we can go, oops, I forgot about that. Eraser. There, good, it went away. Now, in other ways, so that's one way to do it. Another way to do it would be to use a number line. So we can locate 1800ths and 2/10 on a number line. Well, 2/10 is equivalent to 20/100ths. So that's right here. That's that right, that point on the number line. 1800ths is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, just 2 points away from that. So 0.18 is how you write 18/10, is closer to 0. So 18/10 is less than 1800ths, so sorry, is less than 2/10. So compare equal sized parts. 0.18 is equal to 18. Sorry, that is an 8. 1800ths. 2/10 is 2/10, which is equivalent to 20/100ths, right? If we were finding equivalent fractions and we had 2/10, we could find an equivalent fraction to 100 by multiplying the 10 and the 2 both by 10, and that would give us 20/100ths, okay? So that's 20/100ths up here. So 1800ths is less than 20/100ths, so 0.18 is less than 0.2. So more of the park is covered in, well, let's remind ourselves up here. It was said that 1800ths of the park is covered by water and 2/10 of the park is covered by paved walkways. I could show you that up at the top in the problem. So more of the park is covered by walkways because that is the 18. Sorry, the 2/10 was the walkways. So that was page 533. 534 is just one more problem using that same idea. They have you put it into a chart, a place value chart, just like in your decimal number game that you played last week before spring break. You played a game where you had a decimal number chart and you put those numbers in and you could compare them. That's what you're doing right here on this one. And also coloring it in to see which one has more, okay? You're explaining how to compare the size of 1/10 to the size of 100th, right? 1/10 is one of these lines colored in, these long bars here. 1/100th would be one little tiny square out of all of these squares, okay? One little tiny minuscule square up there. So you can compare the size of 1/10 to 100th. So how could this help you compare 5/10 to 500ths? Explain. So you'd have 5 of these, right? 5 long bars colored in, only 5 little tiny squares colored in. That's what you're going to write here in words. And then comparing and doing those 2 problems right there. Then I would like you to complete this page. It is all comparing decimals. They have the decimals here for you. They have you put it in a decimal chart. Again, just like your decimal chart you made when you played the decimal place value game, okay? But this one only has ones and then the tenths and the hundredths. And you put each number in, the first number here on the left-hand side. Let me make that bigger so you can maybe see that a little better. So this 7/10 would go here. You'd have 0 ones. You'd have, and you'd have 7/10 and 0 hundredths. You can put a 0 in there. If you don't have any of them, you can add a 0 after. In decimal numbers, you can add as many zeros as you want after the number you have in the decimal points. You can add 100 zeros on this side. It doesn't change the value. It's still just 7/10 in this case. Just like if you have a 1 over here or any number over here, you can put in the ones place, you can put as many zeros as you want to the left-hand side. It does not change the value of that number. It's still 1, no matter how many zeros you put before it. It's still 7/10 because of the fact that it's right after the decimal point. It's still 7/10. Doesn't matter how many zeros you put after it. Okay? So you're going to finish page 534 on your own, and also 535 and 536. Take a picture of 535 and 536, submit those 2 pages for credit. All right? And if you have any questions, we have Zoom meetings for you to go and ask your questions, circle the problems you're having trouble with so that Mrs. Bergwell or I can help you with those specific problems that you're struggling with. And the things you don't understand, there's also a video down at the bottom, a Math on the Spot video. Watch the Math on the Spot video. They'll go through some practice problems with you as well. All right, talk to you later. See you later. Bye.